to Part 2 of the iSolveTime employee training. After completing Part 2 of this training, you will be able to clock in and out via Quick Punch and Detailed Punch, navigate your time card, verify your time card, and run basic reports for your time card and schedule. I'm going to pull iSolved back up and we're going to talk about all things time card related. The first thing we're going to review together is clocking in and clocking out. Up here in the top left-hand corner, we're going to choose the time clock icon, and you'll notice that there are two options. We have a quick punch and a detailed punch. Let's start with our quick punch option. Quick punch is the easiest method for clocking in and clocking out, and that's because you simply click the quick punch link, and you'll notice up at the top of the screen, we get a green bar that tells us our punch was saved. This is a great method to use for clients that are not having employees clock in and out for lunch, nor are they clocking in and out for labor values. So you simply want to record the time that they arrived at work and the times that they left. The other method that we have available is our detailed punch. The detailed punch is used for clients that will be having employees clock in and out for meals and breaks, and possibly clocking in and out of labor values such as jobs, departments, and even locations. So let's go ahead and click on the detailed punch option, and you'll notice our time window appears. The first thing you'll notice when creating a detailed punch is that the punch date and the punch time are both grayed out. You do have the ability to change the type, the mode, or labor defaults, but the time and the date are automatically stamped based on your work location and the current day and time. Now let's talk about the options that you can change. The first one is our type, and you'll notice if I select the drop-down, we have normal, meal, and break. Normal punches are your standard clock in and clock out for the day. Meal will be used when you leave for your meal period and come back for your meal period. And then those of you who clock in and out for breaks, you would select break when you leave and come back for break. The mode has 4 options but defaults to auto. Auto is more of like a quick punch feature where the system just takes the time of the punch and enters it onto the time card in the order it was received. So an example of that is if we had a 7 a.m. punch and a 7:45 punch, the system knows that 7 a.m. comes first and 7:45 comes next. So that's the order that they would be placed on the time card. You do, however, have the option to choose this is my in punch or this is my out punch. Now, transfer is in here for clients that have employees moving from one department to another or one labor value to another throughout the day. Rather than having to clock out of your first department and into your second, our transfer option does both of them for you. Labor defaults just beneath it, you'll notice that in my environment, I have location and department that are available to be selected. Keep in mind that your environment may have different labor values. So you do have the ability to pick a location, pick a department, and then enter any notes that you would like your manager or supervisor to see. After entering your information, you simply hit the Save button, and you'll notice at the top of the screen, we now have our green punch saved. So just as a recap, there are 2 ways to clock in and clock out. The quick punch and the detailed punch. Remember, detail allows you to change your mode, whether you're clocking in and out for meals or breaks, and also choose your labor values if necessary. Now that we've talked about clocking in and clocking out, I'd like to walk you through the layout of your time card. On the left-hand side at the bottom, we're going to choose Employee Self-Service, expand Time, and click on the time card link. Our time card is going to populate, and let's start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. At the top of the screen, you'll notice some basic information about yourself is listed, such as your name, employee number, whether you're hourly or salary, and any default labor values. Beneath that, we have our blue action bar. Your blue action bar allows you to verify your time card, view a time card report, and view a schedule report, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Beneath that, you'll notice we have a date range listed. Now keep in mind this date range will always populate to your current pay period, But you can use the arrow keys on the left and on the right to go ahead and toggle or move forward or backwards to a new pay period if you'd like to look at different information. Now your time card is going to default to a pay period view, but on the far right hand side you'll notice we have a day, week, and even a pay period link to allow you to change your view to what fits your needs. So you'll notice if I select day, it's going to put us to the 25th, which is the last day of my pay period. But again, I can use my toggle to go to certain days. Now I'm going to jump back to my pay period view, and let's talk about the layout. You'll notice up here at the top, we've got the date and the days of the week. And along the left-hand side, we have our time format. So 12 a.m., and as I scroll down, we've got 12 p.m. Now, the system defaults to you looking at the time in 1 hour increments. You'll notice the time is going from 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. But if you use these plus or minus magnifying glasses, you can increase the increments. So if I click the plus sign, you'll notice now we're looking at 30-minute increments. If I hit it one more time, we're looking at 15-minute increments. Now I'm going to jump back to the 30 because I like this view best, and I'm going to scroll down to my 7 a.m. start time. Now as we look at these punches that are on our time card, you'll notice some of them are different colors, some of them have certain symbols in them. So let's talk about what those mean. Blue means that you followed your schedule and there are no alerts on your time card. Now alerts are notifications letting your supervisors know that something has happened on the time card and they should be notified. So you'll notice on Monday my 7 a.m. punch is listed in orange. If I hover over that punch, you'll notice my little slide out window, and if we look at the alerts section, it tells us that the employee clocked in early, and this is a medium alert. So medium alerts show up in orange. We've also got critical alerts, which are going to show up in red. Now, a critical alert could be something like a missing punch. So if you look over here to the right-hand side, we can see where I clocked in and clocked out in my example a few minutes ago. It's showing up in red because we have labor mismatch and also a missing punch. So those are critical alerts. So the different colors are just levels of alerts that are on the time card, and if you're ever wondering about what each alert is, remember, just hover over the packet and you'll see the alerts pop out. Now another thing that I'd like to point out is any absences that appear on the time card are going to show up in gray, like this sick absence. If we look just a little bit farther down on some of our punches, you'll notice where meals are inserted, you can see a little fork and knife symbol. Now, those are going to appear whether your employer has you clock in and out for lunches or if the system automatically deducts your lunches. So it'll tell you how much time it's deducting, and you'll always see that fork and knife symbol letting you know that it was meal time. So if we're looking at Monday the 12th, we can see the employee clocked in at 7. Lunch was from 1. We can see that second punch. Lunch was from 1 to 1:30. And then at 3 p.m., the employee clocked out. So now that we've talked about the different punch colors and symbols you may see, let's talk about the bottom half of our time card view. You'll notice that we've got a summary section for our total hours. So the total hours is going to take your total punches from above, minus any lunch deductions, and tell you how many hours are on the employee's time card. The earnings summary is going to take those total hours and break them down. Are they regular, overtime, sick, vacation, break time, meal time? That'll all be listed under the earnings summary. Now, if your company has you clocking in and out for labor values such as location, department, job, division, those will also be listed down here. So you can see anytime that I clocked into my corp location and a specific department. Now that we've reviewed our layout of the time card, let's talk about our verification, time card report, and schedule buttons. The first one we're going to look at is the verification. Now, verification is put in place for you as the employee to be able to electronically sign off on your time card. To do so, you simply select the verification option, click the employee checkbox, and you'll notice up at the top of the screen it says our verification was successful. Now, each company may have a different level of verification. In my environment, you'll notice that it asks for the employee to sign off the manager, and the supervisor. So my verification is listed as partially verified because not all 3 levels have signed off. Just keep in mind that your company may have a different structure. Now that we've verified our time card, let's talk about our time card report. The time card report, if you select the button, is going to pull up a PDF version of your time card for you to be able to either save or print out if necessary. As we look at this report, you'll notice the look and feel is very similar to your actual time cards. The only difference is we're not seeing the bars and the colors that you see on your physical time card. So we can see our day, if there are alerts on the time card for that specific day, date, start time, end time, department that you might have been clocked into, or any other labor value, earnings, hours, and then how much time was paid. You'll notice we have our labor summary, our earnings summary, and then we've also got an alerts summary. So remember, the alerts are the notifications on the time card that change colors. So at any time you can run that time card report, and we've also got a schedule report. Now before I move on to the schedule report, I want to point something out while looking at Mary's time card. If we look at the punches, you'll notice that there is a faint blue bar starting at 8 a.m. So Friday's the easiest day to look at it. The light blue shading is to show you the hours that the employee was scheduled to work. So we can see that the employee worked from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is the time that they are scheduled to work. Now, if you do not follow your schedule, Monday's a great example, you'll notice that your actual punches go outside of the light blue shading. So we can see the employee came in at 7, which is an hour earlier than what our blue shading shows, and then they clocked out early. So again, we can see the difference between the light blue shading and the actual punches. Now the schedule report is really here to show you the times and the places that you may be scheduled to work. So when I click the schedule button, again a PDF version is going to appear, and this report shows you the days and dates as well as start time, end time, and any labor values that you might have been scheduled to. So those of you guys who work in different jobs or maybe different locations, your management team can schedule you to those different locations, and you can see that on our employee schedule report. Now on the far right hand side, it will give you a total number of hours scheduled, and just keep in mind that this is all based on your pay period, your current pay period. You have made it to the end of part 2 of this training.